Hello, welcome to CKE 10,000 Gaming Channel. In this video, we'll be looking at my 12 choice DanMachi deck profile. The reason it's called 12 choice is because the level 0 also counts as a choice trigger icon in if you have the one of the class cards in your class area. Alright, so we'll take a look at the level 0s first. We're running two one-ofs. One copy of the Level Swapper and Climax Swapper effect. Victory Feast Tiona at 1. One copy of Choice for Survival Lily. If this card is in the middle position of your center stage, this gets +1 soul, and when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1, discard a card. If you do, choose a Familia, Guild, or Hostess of Fertility character in your waiting room, return to your hand. Choose one of your other Familia or Guild or Hostess of Fertility characters, and that character gets +1000 power until end of turn. Then I'm running two copies of Encountered by the River Ice and Hestia. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1, discard a card. If you do, look up the X cards on top of your deck, choose up to 1 card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest into your waiting room. X equals to the number of other Familia, Guild, or Hostess of Fertility characters you have. And if your level is 3 or higher, you can pay 2, put this in your waiting room. If you do, choose one moment between the two eyes in your waiting room and put it on the stage position that this card was on, which is your level 3 combo, or level 3 card. Then 3 copies of the Brainstormer Expedition to the lower levels Fin. It has 2 effects. The first is at the beginning of your class phase, you can choose 2 Familia, Hostess, or Guild characters in your waiting room and put them at the bottom of your clock in any order. If you put 2 cards into your clock at the end of the turn, put the bottom 2 cards of your clock into your waiting room. And it has a pay 1, press this card, Brainstorm. For each class reveal, choose 1 character in your waiting room and return to your hand. 3 copies of that Brainstormer, 4 copies of the card counts as a choice trigger icon. So class combo, if battle practice or expedition to the lower levels is in your class area, this card and all your zones get choice trigger icon. When this card becomes reversed, if this card's battle point is level 0 or lower, you may put that character into your opponent's stock. If you do, put the bottom card of your opponent's stock into their waiting room. 4 copies of Exploring the Dungeon Lily. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, declare 0, 1, 2, or 3. Put the top card of your deck into your waiting room, and that card is. If that card is the level your opponent declared, sorry, let me restart that. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, your opponent declares 0, 1, 2, or 3. Put the top card of your deck into your waiting room, and if that card is the level your opponent declared, draw up to X cards. X equals to the number your opponent declared plus 1. Classes count as zeros, and at the beginning of your opponent's draw step, put the top card of your deck into your waiting room. If it's 1 or higher, you return this card back to your hand. Then I'm running 2 copies of Senior Mage Rivera. During your opponent's turn, all your other characters get 500 power, and has an activate, pay 2, rest this card, put the top card of your clock into your waiting room, and has an activate, all your opponent's characters in the center stage gets -500. Then 2 copies of the backup, 102K backup. 2 copies for Q for the Feast Loki. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard a character from your hand into your waiting room. If you do, search the deck for 1 reason for her strength ice, reveal your opponent, put her hand. And then that's reason for ice, strength ice is your level 1 combo. When this card attacks, if you have 4 more other Familia or Guild or Hostess of Fertility characters, choose one of your other characters. That character gets 2500 power on the turn, and when this card attacks, if battle practice in your class area, you put 1 yellow card from your hand in your waiting room, and your stock has 5 or less cards, you may pay the cost. If you do, look up to 5 cards on top of your deck, choose up to 2 characters from one of them, reveal to your opponent, put them in your hand, put the rest into your waiting room. Then 1 copy of the level 2, assist for 500 times level, and then pay 2, rest this card, choose 1 character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. 3 copies of Unstoppable Words Lily. You don't really use it for the climax combo, but you use it for the other effect. This card gets 4000 power for each mark underneath this card, and when this card is placed on stage, reveal top card of your deck. If it's a character, you may put it face down underneath this card as a marker. So it's just used as a beater. And do notice that it's 2 soul, so it's a 2/1/2 soul that can get big. So that's 3 copies. 2 copies of the Bell backup. When you use this card backup, you look top card of your deck, put it on top of your deck or into your waiting room. 3 copies of this Lily, Support Lily. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, choose up to 1 of your opponent's characters, return to your hand, and this card's choose up to 1 of your opponent's characters, return to your hand. And this card's soul does not decreased by side attacking. And when this card attacks, you may pay 2, put 1 exploring the dungeon ability from your hand into your waiting room. If you do, choose this card and one of your other characters, and those characters get the following ability until end of turn. This ability activates once a turn. When damaged up with this card cancel, you may deal 1 damage to your opponent. And exploring the dungeon ability is the level 0 that you're running 4 copies at. Then 4 copies of the early play Sword Princess Eyes. Experience, Sword Princess Eyes is in your level. This gets plus 500 power and cannot be chosen by your opponent's effects. And when this card is placed on stage or in your hand, this card gets plus 4,500 power and the following ability until your opponent's next turn. During this card battle, all players cannot play backup from their hands. Which is the early play big beater. And then the last level 3 I'm running is when this card is placed on stage from your hand or by the act effect of encountered by the River, Ice, and Hestia, you may put the top card of your clock into your waiting room so it heals. And Climax combo, when this card attacks, if exhibition to the lower levels in your Climax area, you can pay 2. If you do, look up the 3 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, choose up to 3 cards from among them, put them on top of their deck in any order, and put the rest into their waiting room. And then 4 copies of the Battle Practice Climax for your level 1 combo. 4 copies of Exhibition to the lower levels for your level 3 combo. And both Climaxes combo with this level 0. Alright? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, check EncoreDecks.com and the link in the description below to see an overview of this deck build.